that leads me to the Cook political report and those polls we promised. It's bad. It's really bad. And everyone trusts Cook. They don't put their thumb on the scale. They just want to tell you what's real. They talk first about how the race has been very static for much of 24. Where does the race really stand in the wake of this debate? They say our new national average shows, we looked at national polls, a curated average of national polls conducted by 21 nonpartisan or bipartisan pollsters that we consider reputable and transparent. 3 initial takeaways. It's been a remarkably stable race, but Biden's post-debate dip represents the biggest polling shift we've seen all year. In 2016, polls between Hillary and Trump gyrated wildly, depending on the news cycle. And they go through some of the history. By contrast, the 2024 race has been locked in an exceedingly narrow trading range with few and fleeting drifts from the default of 46-45 Trump. They say this is mostly because they're both universally known. However, Trump's current lead is now 47-44. So he's up 3. In the wake of the debate, they say as small a drop for Biden as it may seem, it's the most drastic shift we've seen in the race all year, and it appears to be driven almost entirely by independent voters. On June 27th, Trump led with independents, 46-44 in our average, they say, by 2 points. Today, he leads by 6 points. So it was 2, now it's 6. Most of the partisans have barely moved. All the movement's been amongst the independents. Then they go through the Black and the Latino voters. They say Trump's current numbers with Blacks and Latinos are incompatible with any plausible Democratic victory scenario. They go back and they look at earlier elections, July of 2020. The forecast was Biden was 75 points ahead with Black voters. The final was Biden was 75 points ahead of Trump with Black voters. Now the forecast is Biden's 50 points ahead with Black voters. Just the forecast, which they got right the last time, is 25 points lower with Blacks. Then they talk about Latinos. Last time around, Latinos, they forecast a 28-point Biden advantage. It ended with a 33-point Biden advantage. Right now, what are they forecasting with Latino voters? A 7-point Latino advantage. Yet another massive fire. Then they spend some time on younger voters. They say Biden's numbers with this group were tepid to start the year. They've steadily gotten worse. Let's see. Today, our average shows Biden leading Trump with 18 to 29-year-olds by 5 points. Last time around, he won young voters by 24 points. If there's a silver lining for Biden, it's his standing among seniors hasn't moved very much. At the beginning of February, he trailed with this group 45 to 49. Today, he trails 46 to 48. My God, there's no good news in all of this, and it's why 6 states got moved closer to Republican wins than they were before the debate. So what effect does this have?
Well, obviously, Democrats in Congress are seeing these exact same things, and they respect Cook as much as anybody, probably more so. It's kind of like the Bible of Washington. And so I do think after the debate, there was a little bit of uncertainty. I know I shared it too, precisely because people have long already been saying that they know that Biden's too old, that he's too cognitively declined. The only people who didn't know that or who weren't saying that were people in the media and some Democrats, but the rest of the country was making clear that they already thought that. So I thought there was a chance that if they saw the debate, it would just confirm for them what they already thought and it wouldn't actually move it. But I think the reaction you had is probably similar to what a lot of them had, which is like, yes, I kind of already knew Biden was, in cognitive decline, but seeing it to that degree, I think on a stage that important was, so extreme that it is kind of shocking to see the sitting president just like looking like a docile, confused, fragile, senile old man. That's alarming. It's scary. It's unpleasant. And yet it is true that the polling numbers haven't moved much. It's not like a cataclysmic drop for Biden, but in these close races, you don't need that. And also, I think what's so notable is like usually, and even in the races where Democrats have won, like or lost, like in 2016, they still won the popular vote because there's so many votes in blue states like New York and California. To see Biden Trump ahead, not just on the electoral vote, but on the popular vote is extremely alarming for Democrats. And the other thing I think is so interesting, Megyn, is that this again shows the big, huge gap between the elite class and media and the ordinary voters, which is one of the main gospels about Donald Trump is that he's a racist, he's a white nationalist, he hates Black people, he hates Latino people. This is what the media has been saying ever since he came down that escalator. And yet more and more non-white voters are migrating from the Democratic Party, either to the Republican Party or just not voting at all. And if the Democrats don't have massive numbers of Black and Latino voters, which clearly they do not, it is extremely difficult to see how they can win. And then as far as young voters are concerned, I do actually think that Biden's support, steadfast support for arming Israel, for financing Israel's war, for standing by Israel in the war in Gaza, young people overwhelmingly do not like that war. I think that has also created a lot of problems for Biden in terms of young people as well. And so when you look at it from those demographic categories that you just described, the picture is so dire that it's not actually surprising why Democrats really are getting as desperate as they're obviously getting.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, we talked about James Clyburn and how important he is because so far the Congressional Black Caucus has been the one very reliably pro-Biden group in the Congress. And they have been in the wake of the debate as well. And we played the following soundbite when he emerged from that House Democrats meeting. It was very strange. But here's what he said at the time. Watch. This is yesterday.
Did you speak up in favor of President Biden in there?
I didn't speak.
What was there more people saying Biden should step down or more people saying he should step down?
We're riding with Biden. We're riding with Biden.
Was that the general consensus in there?
We're riding with Biden.
Was there conversation about Vice President
We are
Kamala?
riding with Biden.
Was there conversation about Vice President Kamala Harris in there?
We are riding with Biden.
You're still a national campaign chair, right? Co-chairs?
Yes, I am.
Was that the consensus from
Riding
everyone?
with Biden.
From everyone in the room? Everyone agrees.
Riding with Biden.
Do you still support the idea of a mini primary?
We're riding with Biden.
Does this complicate the ability of Democrats to win back the House?
The focus on 2025 and we're riding with Biden.
Did you
Okay. And just in case you didn't catch that, national campaign co-chair for the re-election of Joe Biden. But he had earlier said we'd be open to Kamala if the president decides not to run. And people took that as, whoa, he's telegraphing Kamala's good. But then yesterday it was riding with Biden 10 times. Now this just breaking, Glenn, from the Washington Post. Representative James Clyburn asked by Jacqueline Alamany whether Joe Biden's decision to remain the nominee is final. The response was, quote, "I have no idea. You need to ask him." Again, what we're seeing here is a little wiggle room from everybody, right? Just a little bit more wiggle room. Like, I don't know if it's final. Nancy Pelosi, he needs to decide. He already decided. He needs to decide. Blumenthal, he really needs to make a decision too soon, but I support him. This just happened. Yet another congressman, Democrat, Representative Pat Ryan of New York came out and said he needs to step aside for the good of the country. It's the same language we've heard from the 11 or so others who have behind the scenes and publicly said he should go. Trump's an existential threat to democracy, our duty to put forth the strongest candidate. Joe Biden's a patriot, but he's no longer the best candidate to defeat Trump for the good of our country. He should go, blah, 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 blah. Bit by bit. And this is Wednesday, right? We still have Thursday. Tomorrow's a presser. And at the same time all of this is happening, Glenn, we're getting leaks, more and more leaks about the doctors who have visited the White House, the neurological condition of the president. And then there was this ditty on NBC. We had a doctor on, Bredesen, who I like, but who I think is a very pro-Biden person, who was basically saying this is about wisdom versus the brashness of inexperience. Okay, here is a neurologist who appeared on MSNBC yesterday and saw it very differently. Listen.
I see him 20 times a day in clinics. He has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. Lots of arm swings, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of end block turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold, hypophonia. a small monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall. Shuffling gait, we call that, so little steps. Loss of arm swing from the rigidity. When we walk, we have a nice cadence. You notice he doesn't really swing his arms. And end block turning, meaning he kind of pivots around his foot. If you said, hey, President Biden, he wouldn't go like this. His motor symptoms are degenerating. He has Parkinsonism. That is a fact.
Meaning symptoms of Parkinson's. He wasn't trying to diagnose him, but he was saying it, it'd be easy to if I were asked to, and had examined him and seen these symptoms. So it's all you see it all coming together. The zeroing in on the neurological symptoms, the taking advantage or paying attention now to the White House visitor logs and who's been visiting him and when and for what purpose, and then the drip, drip, drip. Summer used to mean tossing and turning all night, desperate to stay cool, but now there's Cozy Earth bedding. Even on hot, sticky nights, you can sleep comfortably. Just switch your current sheets for soft, breathable, Cozy Earth sheets. If you're not sleeping cooler and more comfortably this summer, they will refund your purchase price, plus shipping, no questions asked. You even have 100 nights to try them out. Why such a bold guarantee? Because Cozy Earth's bedding, made from viscose from bamboo, traps less heat, keeping you cool and comfortable year-round. Cozy Earth also offers bath sheets and towels that are luxuriously soft. I just got a new set. Love the waffle on the one side and fuzzy part on the other, totally absorbent and comfy. Their towels are not only incredibly gentle on your skin, but also, as I mentioned, highly absorbent. Fact, I can verify. This summer, transform your home into a sanctuary with Cozy Earth. Visit CozyEarth.com/Megyn. Use promo code Megyn at checkout to save up to 30% right now. That's CozyEarth.com/Megyn, MEGYN, for 30% off your order. And remember to select the Megyn Kelly Show in the post-purchase survey for free socks. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.